For centuries, we've had this obsession with the vampire myth.
Hmm.
The idea that there's something in young blood that can, restore life to the old. It always sounded like pure folklore.
Or a bad horror movie, yeah.
Exactly. But looking at the source material you've pulled together for today, it seems like hard science is actually starting to agree with Dracula.
It's funny how mythology sometimes gets there first, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're right, we're not talking about magic here. We're talking about proteomics, signaling molecules, and, well, the ability to measure the age of your organs from a single drop of blood.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're looking at three frontiers of aging reversal. We're going to get into what's hidden in our blood plasma, how to regrow a critical gland for your immune system, and then the really surprising anti-aging powers of those weight loss drugs everyone's talking about.
It's a huge topic,
Yeah.
and the sources are top-notch. We're pulling from lectures by Tony Wascori at Stanford.
Mm.
He's the one pioneering these organ clocks. Then we've got an interview with Dr. Greg Fahey on his TRIMEX trial, which is actually regenerating the thymus gland in humans.
And some brand new papers on GLP-1 agonists, things like Ozempic.
Exactly, showing them as these potent, body-wide aging inhibitors.
I have to admit, after reading all this, I'm just about ready to sign up for a blood swap.
Let's maybe not get ahead of ourselves. The goal here isn't to find the fountain of youth, it's to understand the biology. What's so exciting is that we're finally moving from just guessing to actually measuring.
Okay, so let's start there, with the blood. Weisskori's big idea is that blood isn't just a fuel line. He calls it an information highway.
That's the perfect way to put it. I mean, think about it. Blood touches every single organ. So if your kidney is struggling or your brain has some inflammation, it releases specific proteins.
Think a little message in a bottle.
Exactly, like a digital exhaust.
Yeah.
And Weisskori's lab can measure, I think it's between 3,000 and 5,000 of these proteins. You can basically eavesdrop on what your organs are saying.
And what they heard about when we age, that really stuck with me. I think we all just assume it's this slow, steady decline.
It's straight line downhill,
Yeah, but the data says no, that's not it at all. It happens in waves.
not linear at all.
Yeah,
There are these huge, distinct shifts in our blood's proteins at very specific ages. And the first one hits way earlier than anyone would guess, age 34.
34. That seems incredibly young for a wave of aging. At 34, you feel like you're in your prime.
It does. But you have to think about it from an evolutionary perspective. By 34, you've probably had kids, you've passed on your genes.
So nature's kind of done with you.
In a cold biological sense, yeah. The warranty runs out. Nature stops investing as much in your long-term maintenance.
That is just a little depressing. So 34 is the first hit. What about the next ones?
The second big wave is around age 60. That lines up pretty perfectly with when a lot of age-related diseases start to kick in. And then the third, the really massive drop-off, is at 78.
And that's where this idea of organ clocks comes in. The idea that, okay, you might be 50 chronologically, but your heart could be acting like it's 70.
Precisely. Or your liver could be 40.
Yeah.
We all age differently, but the real insight is that our organs age differently within us. And this age gap, the difference between your real age and your organ's biological age, is a huge predictor of your health.
And looking at the data, one organ clock matters more than all the others for predicting, well, death.
The brain.
The brain.
Yeah, the data is just crystal clear. Your brain age is the #1 predictor of mortality from any cause, more than your heart age. If your brain's proteins look old, your risk just skyrockets.
Which suggests the brain is kind of running the whole show.
It's the conductor of the orchestra.
Okay, so that brings us to the really wild part, the parabiosis experiments. This is where they prove that the blood isn't just a symptom, it's a cause. Can you explain what this is? Because it sounds like something from a Frankenstein movie.
It is a bit grotesque, I'll give you that. It's a classic experiment where they literally suture an old mouse to a young mouse.
So they share a circulatory system.
They share a circulatory system. The old mouse gets young blood, and the young mouse gets old blood.
And it's not just that the old mouse feels a bit better.
Oh, it's way more fundamental. The old mouse physically rejuvenates. We're talking new neuron growth, better memory, less inflammation. But the flip side is almost more important.
The young mouse gets old.
It ages fast. Its brain function declines. It proves there are actual pro-aging and pro-youth factors physically floating around in our blood.
But how did they prove it was specifically the brain that was changing? I mean, maybe the old mouse just felt better because its blood was being cleaned by a young kidney.
That's a great question, a totally valid critique, and they answered it with something called click chemistry.
The Nobel Prize-winning tech.
That's the one. They basically put a chemical GPS tracker on proteins made only in the brain. And then they looked for those tagged proteins in the bloodstream.
And they found them.
They found them. It proved brain proteins cross into the blood. So when we test the blood, we are, in a very real sense, reading a page from the brain's biography without ever needing a biopsy.
So, okay, the blood is the dashboard. It tells us what's going on. Let's talk about fixing the engine. This is where we shift from measuring age to reversing it. Let's talk about the thymus.
The thymus gland. Yeah, it's this little gland that sits right behind your breastbone. Most of us forget it even exists after puberty.
Which is funny because that's when it starts to forget about us.
That's exactly right. The thymus is the boot camp for your immune system special forces, the T cells. They hunt down viruses, cancer, everything. But starting at puberty, the thymus just shrinks, turns into fat.
And by age 60?
T cell production has pretty much collapsed, which again lines up perfectly with that second wave of aging. It's why older people get so much sicker from the flu or pneumonia. Their army has been disbanded.
So Dr. Greg Fye and his Tremex trial, he decided to just, what, regrow it?
That was the goal. Not just slow the decline, but actually regrow the gland.
He uses this cocktail, and the main ingredient is growth hormone. But I thought growth hormone was sort of a villain in the longevity world, that it speeds up aging.
It can be. It's anabolic. It builds things. And the fear is that it could fuel cancer. But Faye's argument is you can only tear down. A lot of anti-aging is about fasting and restriction, but if you only do that, you just wither away. You have to rebuild.
So he uses growth hormone, but not by itself.
Right, and this is the clever part. Growth hormone can mess with your blood sugar.
Yeah.
So he adds metformin, the diabetes drug, to counteract that.
Okay.
And then he adds DHEA to help modulate the immune system. It's a very strategic cocktail.
Did it work?
It worked.
Yeah.
They saw on MRI scans actual regrowth of functional thymus tissue. They saw a huge increase in new T cells.
Yeah.
But the big headline was the epigenetic clock.
The biological age, it didn't just slow down.
It went backward.
Right.
On average, the participants got 2.5 years younger biologically after just 1 year on the trial.
We haven't seen that before in a human trial, have we?
Not like this. Not this reliably.
And the stories from the trial participants are what really make it real. The 81-year-old sprinter.
Yeah. This guy, he starts the trial at 80. A year later, he's running 5Ks, beating his personal records, and he just says, nothing hurts anymore.
And then there's the VO2 max data, a 26% increase in fitness without any extra exercise. That's Olympic-level improvement.
It's unheard of. It suggests that by fixing the immune system, you're removing this huge systemic drag on the body.
Right.
And then there were the cosmetic effects.
The hair.
The hair. Dr. Fahey noticed his own arm hair turning dark again. Other people saw darker hair growing back on their limbs. It's a small sign, but it shows the rejuvenation signal is getting everywhere.
Okay, but it can't be all perfect. There had to be side effects.
There were growing pains, literally, joint pain, some carpal tunnel symptoms.
Yeah.
Fahey says it's because the growth hormone is actually rebuilding cartilage and tissue in joints that haven't seen that kind of activity in decades.
A bit of a trade-off then. Sore wrists for a younger immune system.
Seems to be, yeah.
Okay, so we've read the clock with blood. We've rebuilt the immune system with the thymus. Now for the third piece. And this is the one that really caught me off guard, Ozempic.
The GLP-1 agonists.
Okay.
Yeah, this is huge pivot. We think of them for weight loss, but the new science says they're powerful anti-aging drugs, even if you're already at a healthy weight.
So there's this new paper, Huang et al. What did it show?
They used a drug similar to Ozempic, and they found it reversed the gene expression patterns of aging across the entire body. Heart, liver, muscle, you name it.
But wait, when you lose weight, you usually see anti-aging effects just from caloric restriction. Did they control for that?
They did. That's the first thing you check. They pair-fed the control mice, so they ate the exact same number of calories. The anti-aging effect was independent of the weight loss, and the molecular signature looked a lot like rapamycin.
Okay, so rapamycin, that's the gold standard for inhibiting mTOR, which is this cellular growth pathway.
Right. When you inhibit mTOR, cells go into a cleanup mode, autophagy. It's great. The problem with rapamycin, though, is that it can also cause muscle loss.
Which is really dangerous as you get older.
Terribly dangerous. And this is the Ozempic surprise. The GLP-1s seem to give you that same cleanup signal, that mTOR inhibition, but without the muscle wasting. It actually preserved muscle.
So all of the good, none of the bad. But here's the part of the study that just blew my mind. The brain part.
The hypothalamic dependence. This is a
Yeah.
crucial insight. They wanted to know how this was working. So they bred mice where the GLP-1 receptors in the hypothalamus, the brain's command center, were knocked out.
So the drug is everywhere in the body, but the brain can't see it.
Exactly. And the result, all the body-wide anti-aging effects disappeared. Gone.
Hmm?
The drug was touching the liver directly, but if the brain didn't get the signal, the liver didn't get the memo to rejuvenate.
That's insane. It means the brain is setting the pace of aging for the whole body. The drug tricks the brain, and the brain tells the body to act young.
It's a top-down signal. It completely changes how we think about this. It's not about fixing the organs individually. It's about hacking the central controller.
Okay, so I'm trying to put this all together, but I feel a tension here, a conflict. On one side, you have the rapamycin and Ozempic camp saying, inhibit growth, tear down, clean up.
The catabolic approach.
And on the other, you have Dr. Fahey saying, no, build up, take a growth hormone, regenerate. Which one is it?
You've hit on the central paradox of longevity science. To build or to tear down? And the answer is both.
But not at the same time.
Not at the same time. Dr. Fay even quotes that old song, turn, turn, turn. There's a season for everything. You need a season of tearing down to clean out the junk. And you need a season of building up to restore what was lost. You need to cycle.
So you could, use something like a GLP-1 to do the cleanup?
And then follow it with a protocol to, say, rebuild your thymus.
Exactly.
The sources actually sketch out this theoretical quadruple synergy stack.
Right, combining a few of these ideas. So first you have the GLP-1s for that brain signaling and cleanup. Then a ketogenic diet, not for weight loss, but for the BHB molecule.
Which is another powerful signaling molecule that reduces inflammation.
Third is fasting to really deepen that cleanup process.
Right.
And fourth, and this was new to me, SGLT2 inhibitors. Diabetes drugs, why are they in there?
This is a really elegant little piece of biochemistry. When you fast or do keto, your uric acid can spike, which is bad for your mitochondria. SGLT2 inhibitors lower uric acid. They act as a mitochondrial bodyguard while the other interventions do their work.
It's like a whole symphony, pulling all these different levers at once.
It's a systems approach.
Which brings us to the big takeaway. It feels like we are on the cusp of moving from sick care to actual health care.
I think that's exactly right. Right now we wait for you to have a heart attack. Then we try to fix you. This new science is about measuring your heart's protein age when you're 40, so the heart attack never happens.
It's proactive. It's maintenance.
It is. And it leaves you with this really provocative final thought. If that GLP-1 study is right, and the brain is telling the rest of the body how fast to age, is aging really a hardware problem of wear and tear?
Or is it a software problem?
Exactly. Is it a program that's running? And if it's a program, if it's just code,
then maybe we can rewrite it. Wow, that's a thought that's going to stick with me. The idea that we aren't just breaking down, we're being programmed to break down.
And we might have just found the keyboard.
We have covered so much ground, from protein waves to thymus regeneration. For everyone listening, I think the takeaway is this. Start thinking about your biological age, not just the candles on your cake, because the tools to actually change it are arriving faster than any of us thought.
It's a brave new world, for sure.
Thanks for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.